So I'm going to step through fairly swiftly some of the enablers. We talk about here a fundamentally different approach. This is the approach that NetApp incubated many years ago, and that we've been able to realize and drive out to our customers over the past few years. And that is that we really have abstracted all of our capability from the hardware. You can really think of NetApp as the VMware of the storage world. I can say that because I have a microphone. I can say that because, really the reality is that many of the features that customers love about VMware, the consolidation, the high availability, the scale-out capability, many of those features are reflected in some of the features that I've just shown you there in the NetApp world. About efficiency, about agility. So we can, one of the trends we've seen is to take, perhaps the lowest cost storage that you can imagine, SATA storage, and begin to populate that with data. Virtualize that data, so bring in technologies like deduplication. So we're going to reduce the footprint, so there's not going to be repeated images of virtual machines, for example, or desktops is a classic use case for deduplication. Compress what's compressible, thinly provision what we can, so take away some of the administrative overhead. And once we've gone through that virtualization process, we can then take our customers' data and, based on our own innovations in intelligent acceleration of I/O workloads, we can move data dynamically from physical tier into virtual tier. So we can accelerate I/O workloads on demand. What does this mean to you? What does this distill down to? It means that you have a dynamic reactive infrastructure. And if you bear that description in mind, dynamic reactive infrastructure, when we lay on top of that the service catalog methodology that I'm going to talk about in a few moments, that gives you the best opportunity to align your IT services with your business processes. Because nobody can predict in the next 6 to 12 months what new business processes may be adopted by your company or where your company is going. Some of the challenges Simon outlined in terms of regulatory compliance, exclusion zones, things you can't predict. So if you have a dynamic reactive infrastructure that's a best-in-class solution stack from the leading vendors in the marketplace, you are giving your business the best advantage of reacting and being able to adapt to the changing landscape that you operate in. So this intelligent caching, actually, when I go and meet with customers around Europe and we talk about our vision and strategy and where we're going, the intelligent caching and the ability to understand what the data is and how important that data is, and to be able to react to the I/O demand, is one of the leading interest points from many of our customers. So again, it's all about efficiency, bringing the efficiencies of deduplication and making that caching technology dedupe aware. We're the only vendor that does that, and there's a reason for that. Nobody else right now, today, can achieve that. It's one of the reasons that we're delighted to be working with Adapt. They recognize Cisco and NetApp as innovators and leaders in their marketplace. So this is data-driven performance, reacting to what the applications and your clients need at any given point in time. Highly granular, the ability to not move huge amounts of data back and forth. I sat on a podcast recently from some cloud experts who talked about this movement of data into private clouds and public clouds back and forth. It's not going to happen. It takes too long, and there's no reason for it. If you can build the infrastructure that Adapt has built, and you can deliver that with a service wrapper around it, this argument about private public clouds and the huge movement of data in and out of this is simply not going to happen. This is where the magic happens. This is where the companies who are innovating are delivering this kind of solution. And Cisco, of course, are bringing all of their innovation to the network, quality of service, the ability to share what we have. in a secure manner. So all of this is built on top of, you know, the delivery vehicle we talked about, the suite of products from NetApp. No feature trade-offs, as I say, dedupe aware. It's one of the primary competitive advantages that we enjoy in our marketplace. So as a summary, it's about flexibility, you know, and I don't use this as a marketing term. It genuinely is about having choice. So this journey that many of our customers are taking, and that many customers are you know, relying upon Adapt to take, starts on the left-hand side with, you know, centralization, consolidation. We go through that, allows us to rationalize and standardize. This is all about reducing cost and improving efficiency. Once we've been through that virtualization process, we can then look at both storage and service automation. Automating workflows and orchestrating this has a critical dependency on the success. You know, if I was to call out from all of the customers that I speak to, you know, the promised land is a, you know, web-based self-service portal. I need an application, go and provision me the compute network and storage resources that I need. You know, that's the kind of infrastructure that Adapt have, you know, are developed to be able to deliver the resources on demand. So IT as a service is absolutely, you know, real. It happens today when we look at the service provider program that NetApp run across the globe, and we look at the service providers who are delivering these kind of solutions to the marketplace. I can tell you now, just based off our service provider partner community today, we provide cloud-based or IT as a service, cloud-based services to over 1 billion consumers. Now those are IT as a service, backup as a service, it could be social media, it could be your music sites, whatever they are, it's cloud-based services and it's built on this infrastructure. And one of the critical methodologies that has to be adopted, that Adapt adopted, is the use of service catalogs. What does this mean? You know, service catalogs is the absolute methodology to allow you to align IT services with business processes. So it allows you to predefine what you are going to require and how that is going to be provisioned. And NetApp in our management suite of products on command, and we just launched a new version of that recently, has this service catalog capability in there. And it allows this higher abstraction of storage. Again, it's about reducing administrative overhead. It's about improving efficiency, not only in administration, but also in scale out, how you are going to scale this infrastructure out. So on the left-hand side, you know, a traditional model of you know, provisioning storage on a NetApp asks you all sorts of questions around you know, space guarantees and aggregates and volumes. In the new world, when we introduce the concept of service level provisioning or service catalogs, we can actually give a you know, a level of performance that we require. The storage is intelligent enough to understand that and goes and provisions the appropriate kind of storage. This is the way to scale out. This is the way to be able to deliver that scale out capability. And this is all about, and you know, this is really where we can introduce the term that both Cisco will use, NetApp will use, and that is service-orientated infrastructure. To reach a point where we're actually designing our data centers or designing our IT services specifically around the demands of the business. So it's service-orientated infrastructure. And of course, Salim introduced the concept of Flexpod. Flexpod is really the key delivery vehicle today for our solutions. It's a best-in-class solution stack, as Salim mentioned, that comprises of components, the UCS, Nexus, NetApp storage. We've got a number of NetApp and Cisco folks here who'll be delighted to go into the detail under the covers with you at the break. But one of the key points about all of this is how are we going to pull this together and orchestrate this, this solution stack. And I would say one of the other trends in the industry right now is the use of the open APIs that we provide. We have an extremely feature-rich and granular management capability for our NetApp product suite. We have a very tight and deep integration with all of the leading applications, not only the Microsoft application, the productivity suite, your SharePoint, SQL, Exchange, etc. But most recently, we made a big announcement on a validated design for Flexpod for SAP, for example. These are solutions that are being adopted not only by mid-range companies, if you will, but high-end companies who are looking to run very high transactional type workloads on them. That's the advantage of having a flexible architecture. We can accommodate the specific workload that you need. But the importance of orchestration, we have a community of partners we work with. We both, to a greater or lesser extent, both Cisco and NetApp own some kind of workflow or orchestration functionality. But more importantly, we can work with the best in class. So if you have an IT strategy that means that you have to adopt a BMC or CA as an orchestration partner, we can work within that and we can accommodate that. The key point is that I would say the trend we're seeing today is that most companies who are adopting Flexpod technology and Flexpod infrastructure are actually solving the problem of automation first and then moving on to orchestration after that. So it's a journey. It's a journey, but the good news is that we have a plan of how to get there. So with that said, I think I've managed to catch up a few more minutes, and we will be, I think, around at the end of the day for the Q&A. Be delighted to talk to you at the break, and I'd just like to hand over back to Simon. Thanks.